To you. But today, the biggest icon in wrestling.
Yeah.
Welcome. We are live back for another episode of Let Me Talk to You, episode 3 of our podcast. My name is the one and only Frankie Fresco, and to my left, live from Mylander Park. Is he live from Mylander Park? The champion? Are you live in Mylander Park or no?
I was trying to get tickets, but they ran out too quick.
They ran out. So if you guys don't know, my brother lives in the Hialeah area. Mylander Park is apparently a Donald Trump rally that they're doing, but we're not talking.
Huge support. Huge support over there.
Yeah, they're going crazy out there. I saw that. Like I was talking to the parents, and the parents were telling me, Frankie, yeah, it's insane. They got like everything blocked out there and all that stuff. But we're not here to talk about politics. We're here to talk about some sports, some wrestling. And we're here. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, live. DiTrapio, aka That Way Nick. Talk to me. How you feeling, bro?
Feeling good, bro. I'm feeling good. Another day, another blessing.
Yes.
This is a special week because on Monday was my birthday.
Oh, absolutely. Happy birthday, sir.
And
how was your birthday, man?
It was nice, man. Chilled with you and the family.
Yeah, I act like if I wasn't there. I sound like if I wasn't there. No, but yeah, I was there, guys. Of course.
Yeah, the big 3-0, man. Next chapter in life. Can't wait. And I'm just excited. And we got a lot of things to talk about, so we can start.
Nice. Well, guys, don't forget to chime in on the chat. We will have a guest a little bit later on today. And we will talk a little bit about sports with our guest. I'm not sure yet if he will be part of the podcast. I'm hoping he will be, but at least for today, he definitely will be a guest on our show. And then we will go ahead and see if maybe it develops into something. So shout out to everybody coming into the chat. We're gonna first start with, of course, our wrestling side of the podcast. And first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about the WWE side. Before we jump into NXT, because I know NXT is like what we're gonna focus on. I do want to get your take, man. Yesterday I had the podcast with Sean, and Sean was upset at me because I wasn't happy with Crown Jewel and the results. I want to get another person's perspective. Talk to me, Nick. Did you or did you not like Crown Jewel?
I'm not gonna lie to you. It was okay for me. It wasn't like something I can feel like I was excited for. The card was pretty diverse, but at the same time, though, you kind of knew what the direction was, what they were going with everyone, except for one match. But for everything else, like you can kind of figure out what they were trying to build.
Anything? Okay, so I know we don't want to spend that much time on it, but I guess my two questions for you is, what was the thing that you liked the most, and what was the thing that you felt like maybe they had to improve on? And it could be anything. It could be a match. It could be a wrestler. It could be anything.
I think what they should improve on is really kind of know how to build up the wrestler without beating down any legends. I
think I know where you're going with
it's kind of tough to see Solo beating a legend like John Cena with ease. Like if John Cena wasn't like a 20+ time world champion. And that kind of upsets me a little bit. But I feel like they can work on that road a little bit better. What they did really well was, like I said before, have a diverse set of matches. My personal favorite match of the night was Ray versus Logan.
Yeah.
As you know, Logan Paul became the champion. And just to give you a quick heads up, the views on that were 1.52 million,
Wow.
and that kind of kept up with Fastlane. That was around their trajectory as well.
Well, hey man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought Crown Jewel was gonna always hit the mark when it comes to the viewership, but just like you, I did not agree with how that Solo versus John Cena match went. But if you want to get my take as far as what I thought about Crown Jewel, check out the video of yesterday, the Squared Circle Digest. Me and Sean went over my opinion of the Roman fight, the Logan Paul fight. We went over a couple of things, and we could go and you guys could, you know, chime in and put comments on the video and let me know if you guys agree or disagree with Sean's comments or with mine. But now let's talk a little bit about NXT. Last night NXT, not bad. Obviously, there's a story brewing. One of the biggest stories right now is, of course, the story between Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes. And now we actually also got my boy Brian Pillman Jr. But no, he's no longer called that. That was his name in AEW. Gotta call him by his name in WWE. Lexus King. So Lexus King it is. Lexus King. He was getting involved in there as well. So there's this feud. So if you guys didn't watch the show last night, obviously the controversy a couple weeks ago, Carmelo, Trick, they were all supposed to fight in I believe it was on a 3 or a 4-way match, and then all of a sudden they knocked out Trick.
Okay.
And then the controversy that's coming out is who was the one who knocked out Trick. And then obviously you have that feud right now that you don't know. We don't know if Trick was attacked by Carmelo or maybe somebody else attacked him, and that was the reason why he couldn't compete in that match. So it's a little bit of a controversy. And then obviously last night we actually had the whole scenario where Carmelo and Trick were talking, and then it looks like they were gonna reveal, and then obviously they were interrupted by Lexus King, man. And Lexus King come out there, and now Lexus King, he's trying to like spice it up. He's trying to, play devil's advocate and try to make it seem like, there's some beef between them, and make it, to the point where maybe their relationship, it's no longer gonna be Trick Mello anymore. They're probably gonna go their separate ways. I don't know yet, but when Trick went to hit Lexus King, bro, he connected with Carmelo, and he knocked Carmelo out. And then when you see it, when he picks up Carmelo's actually looking, and even though they give each other like that bro hug, they're like, yo, we're still bros. You could see it in Carmelo's eyes that he's like not too happy, and he seems like
At
he's like
all, man.
50-50, man. So I personally, my opinion about it, I think eventually they're gonna lead up to this, which is gonna be Trick versus Carmelo. That's gonna be probably eventually what they're gonna set up and what they're trying to set up. I do like the fact that they did put in Lexus King. I think Lexus King is good. I like the fact that they're bringing him quickly. I mean, they hyped him up. They were doing promo videos and segments for him when they first were trying to introduce him, and now that he's starting to get fully invested in the NXT side, I like the fact that they brought him quickly. They're like, look, we're going to start throwing him immediately against the big guys, because, the most popular guys is obviously Trick and Carmelo, Braun Breaker, Wagner, all these guys. Any thoughts on your take on that?
I'm liking it, man. I'm liking the suspense. It's crazy because it feels like it's the obvious. You think Carmelo is the one who kind of betrayed him, but you don't know. But things are looking like people are pointing the finger at him, and like you said, once that friendly fire that happened with Trick and Mello, he got picked up and they hugged it out. But man, he did not look happy at all. So
No.
I'm not gonna say that they're gonna be separated yet, but it's getting there. But you know how WWE is. Sometimes they give you this false suspense, and I don't know where they're back cool again. But I think they're gonna lead into having them both separate, because I think right now they're both catching the spotlight, and kind of separating them might help them grow a little bit more than if you put them together.
Absolutely. And then obviously we also had Von Wagner and then Braun Breaker. That was a pretty good fight as well. And then of course we had the new championship women's champion. I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly. I think it's Valkyria. I got
Valkyria, Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like she's now gonna take the realm of having to defend that belt, and I'm excited because remember she beat Becky Lynch for that belt, and I kind of felt like Becky Lynch was kind of like giving her the push because obviously she's Irish as well, so I like
I
that.
like the connection.
I like
Hmm.
that she was helping her fellow, you know, Irish to do big, and now she's in NXT as the
Definitely.
champion, and now we just gotta wait and see who she's gonna face. I believe somebody was challenging her, or somebody came out.
Shea Lee, I believe. Shea Lee.
Okay, we gotta get better with our names when with our pronunciation
Yeah.
with these names, bro, because we suck on it. But you know what?
Hey,
I'm not
man.
gonna lie, NXT is good, bro. I'm actually
I like the
watching
build
it.
up.
I'm
Hmm.
watching it more and more often. And like I said, man, I wasn't a big fan of Lexus King when he was in AEW, but I like him. I like the way they're bringing him over to the NXT world. I like it. I like it. Um, on the opposite end, we're also going to talk a little bit about AEW. Not too much. I didn't want to talk too much about AEW because obviously the Squared Circle Digest, we spoke about it yesterday. But I did want to talk to my brother about one thing, and something that came up between yesterday and today is the fact that Anthony Bowens. If you guys don't know who Anthony Bowens is, Anthony Bowens is of course of the Acclaim, Daddy Ass, Scissor Me, all that. So these guys are very, very well known, and they actually competed in All In. And if you guys don't remember in AEW, All In was the biggest ticket sales in wrestling history. Like they had well over 80,000 people in that European arena, or not, European stadium actually. And bro, it was an
It was
amazing
Wembley.
experience. Yeah, Wembley Stadium, correct. So what I want to do is I want to share this. I'm not gonna play the sound because I don't want to get copyrighted. But I am gonna go ahead and share the screen, and it's Anthony Bowens, and I'm gonna share you guys what he does. Let me see. Let me make sure this is working. Okay, so there it is. So I'm gonna make it bigger and then mute it. That way, yeah, it's muted. Okay, perfect. So in this particular thing, what ends up happening is Anthony Bowens is pretty much showing us how and what happened to him while he was in getting ready to go to Wembley in AEW. So let's check out the video. And we could comment on this as well. Like, this is pretty cool of him doing this. Like, he actually is giving us like a run through of what his day was before he went to All In. Oh,
Oh, this guy.
he's repping the Kansas City Chiefs there. I didn't know he was a big Kansas City Chiefs fan. And then that was obviously the stage of where of the entrance of All In. And then one cool thing that he says while he's talking, because I don't want to get copyrighted, but he was like, after he did the walk around stage, he was signing autographs for the fans. He then looks at the back and he's checking out that was their locker room for all the wrestlers. And then obviously his thing that was really
Wow, that's
cool
awesome.
was walking through before. So that was gonna be like the walkthrough before.
Man, that must be so one of a kind, like feeling. Like that must be knowing that you got 80,000. Look at that, dude.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's so badass. 80,000
What?
people watching it. And then he said that the fireworks were amazing. And dude, it was just a breathtaking moment in his life of wrestling. And, for him to be able to do that in front of 80,000 people, I mean, that's ridiculous. Then he did say, unfortunately, he did suffer a little minor injury on his shoulder. Then that was his flight back to the States. And then check this out, Nick. Look at this. Look at what they give him. This is so badass. Check it out. I think this is so cool. Boom. Look at that, man. That is
Oh,
cool
that's
as
nice.
hell. Live Nation gave him that. And he's like, yo, man, thank you so much, man. That is cool. You see, over
That's very nice,
80,000
man.
tickets sold. So that was a moment of time in um Anthony Bowens' moment when he was doing
That's
All
awesome.
In, which was cool, man. I thought it was cool. Just for him to share that with us. What's up, Memo? What's up, Frank? What's up, Cassius Stone? Um, guys, come in the chat if you guys are joining in. Thank you so much for joining us. I just wanted to share that with you guys on the AEW side because man, we're not wrestlers. We're just wrestling fans. And one of the things that we really, really did enjoy, well, I enjoyed. I thought All In did delivered, but at the same time, man, to be part of that, for him to show us like backstage of That man,
Definitely, man.
imagine you or me were there. Like if we get excited when we go to like different events. When when me and my brother have gone, we recently went to the Stanley Cup playoffs when the Panthers were there. We went to the NBA Finals when the NBA Finals were here as well. And obviously we're praying to God that some way somehow the Dolphins will make it to the Super Bowl, but because we will try to be there. I promise you, we will do everything in our power to be there for the Miami Dolphins. But just imagine living it, man. Just living it and being part of it, dude. Freaking awesome. I think it's freaking amazing. And I wanted to just share that with you guys. What you think about that video, Nick? Your take?
Man, like I said before, that must be such a special moment. Like you said, breathtaking moment, and it's awesome that he shares something, behind the scenes, as a wrestler. That's pretty cool.
That was, man. That was. All right, man. Well, that was pretty much our wrestling talk. We want to go ahead and jump into our more controversial, more our in-depth, our more enticing moment. This is where me and my brother take it to another level. And if you guys are just noticing of our podcast show, is the fact that we are very big diehard Dolphin fans. So we talk about our Dolphins. We might have a guest. I'm waiting to see if he joins us. If he doesn't join us, it's okay. But if he does, I'll have I have it backstage. Once he comes in, I'll join him in as well. Hey Cindy, what's up? Welcome to the Let Me Talk to You podcast. Oh, wait, we actually have him. That was quick. Like, ladies, man, I'm gonna tell you something, guys. I wish I could go ahead and just do like an intro. You know how when you get like somebody you want to introduce them and be like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Frank. Another Frank in the building.
What up? Good evening, good afternoon, or good night. I don't know which one it is. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing today?
Yo, so Frank, it's a pleasure to have you. This is what we talked about. All three of us talked about this, that we wanted to be together and try to do this show. So I hope we could do this more often.
Facts, man. We've been talking about it. We're here right now. You guys have picked it up. I've been dropping in or eavesdropping every so often. You'll see me in those chats. But excited to be here, man. So first, let me explain it to people. My name is Frank. I moved up from Miami up to the Northeast, Rochester, New York. So that's why I have a scarf on.
Boom.
It's not because of anything specific. It's just a little cold up here right now. So, but how's everyone doing in the chat? How's everything going?
I mean, we're happy to have you, man. It's not as cold up here. I mean, down here, right?
Yeah.
But maybe later today, I'll take down one of my scarves over there and put it on as well. Nah,
I like that.
I'm just playing. But no, man, it's good to have you, man. And like I said, it's a pleasure to have you. And let's talk a little bit about wrestling, because one thing that us three do love to talk about, not wrestling, my bad. Football. Let's talk about football, my bad. Still getting the hang of this, guy. Still getting the hang of this.
I was like, oh, okay. I'll try. I'll try my best.
Flam, aka Frank. Obviously, how do you want us to call you, Frank? Do you want us to call you Frank? Do you want us to call you Flam? I know you have different titles here.
Man, that's crazy. If the privilege and the option is mine, I mean, by all means, go with it. Whatever you like. Flam sounds great. I like it how it comes out. It rolls right out of your mouth. Great. So it's like Flam. Flam. So
the crazy thing is that, guys, well, everybody knows me as Frankie, but the people who know me a long time ago, like Frank knows me. My name is Frank. Like, everybody used to call me Frank. And then once I started DJing, I was like, okay, people could call me Frankie, and it just clicked from there on out. So people always now call me Frankie. So if somebody calls me Frank, that's somebody who's known me for a very long time, or at least has been tuning into the show and just wants to start trolling on me or something.
It's true. I would say that I've heard many people call you Frankie in front of me, and I've never thought about it twice. I've just been like, yeah, it's Frank. So I'm glad to be one of the OGs out here. Yeah. But I am excited to tune in and talk about football. I mean, where do you want to start off?
All right, but before we start, I just want to say, man, don't disappear on us, Flam. I see like sometimes you're disappearing on me. Nick did the same thing. Nick, you and Flam don't disappear on me. Your green screens be disappearing on me, and then I don't want to be the only one left here on the screen. But not
He looks cozy though, in his living room and his
Yeah,
fireplace.
you see how beautiful my living room is?
Bro, you got the piano back there, freaking classy man. I love it. I love it.
I should have had it downloaded like a little picture, but I was like, let me just wear the Marlins hat so I can still rep Miami a little bit. But yeah.
Oh, but we appreciate it, sir. We appreciate it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Dolphins. So obviously, this past weekend, we were prime time early in the morning. We were over there in Frankfurt, Germany, and unfortunately, we did not get the result that we wanted. Now, obviously, everybody, the spotlight was on us. We lost 21-14 to the Kansas City Chiefs. What we're gonna do to kind of get everybody's perspective, let's start with you, Flam, in the bottom, and then we'll make our way around with Nick, and then I'll give my take. Tell me what you think about the game. What did you like? What you didn't like? What did you expect? Anything in particular about the Dolphins Chiefs game?
You know, I had to look up highlights. I did not watch the game fully. I can't believe I'm saying it this way, but I didn't expect them to lose, and that's where I think everyone throws a little bit of a curveball. I mean, the Dolphins really have set themselves up for a very, very great season. I mean, offensively, the weapons are endless. You could go through the Cheetah, Waddle, Mozart, the new guy, rookie. I mean, it's just and they're doing exactly what Mike Daniels wants. Tua is healthy, throwing incredibly. If anything, I think to highlight some of the highlights, some missed targets, some underthrows, things that we haven't. I mean, I think everyone hasn't seen the Tua do this year. So, to be honest, it is Kansas City. It is the Chiefs. Ultimately, I know right now the stigma behind it is can't be somebody above 500, and I think that's just stupid. I think unfortunately they've had some bad luck, but the trajectory is they're gonna win off the AFC. I mean, at least our division, AFC East. Am I throwing this wrong? Right?
AFC,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So that's my take on the Dolphins.
All right. Cool. What about you, Nick? Talk to me. What's going on with the Miami Dolphins? What did you think about this past Sunday?
I agree what Flam says that the team is doing well, and this weird narrative that we have right now, which is not beating teams above 500. And I'm slowly falling and believing that narrative just a tiny bit, just because every game that we've played, aside from probably the Bills, those 3 L's that we've gotten, we've either started horribly or we just have this weird first 2 quarters, and then we have to pull this miraculous comeback. And I feel like putting ourselves in those positions at crucial games and big teams like that, it's not gonna help the case that the Dolphins can make some noise with bigger teams. But overall, I don't want to jump the gun either and say that the team hasn't been successful. I think Tua has been playing some pretty good high caliber quarterback play through the first 9 games of the season. Currently, I think he has 21 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Who?
So he's I think he's on 21 or 19, I think. So he's not playing bad. Of course, we've been dinged up with some injuries. Losing Waddle in the first quarter or even the first 2 plays of the game wasn't really helpful. That kind of shortened up the talent. I believe he'll put himself a little bit too highly on the, hey, I can't wait to beat Chiefs. I can't wait to, kind of start up this extra pressure that you shouldn't be putting on yourself. Just be focused and kind of stay on what you've been doing these past couple of weeks. And I feel like, the Chiefs defense surprised me, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think the Chiefs defense, I'm so used to seeing, Pat Mahomes and Kelsey and, the high flying offense and just Kelsey running like crazy and throwing those sling passes. But for them to come here, go to Germany on a short notice too, because they got there later, and just dominate the Dolphins in the first 2 quarters, it was a little bit, surprising. However, I liked how the Dolphins came back and kind of did that extra push, but it wasn't enough. And I feel like both teams defensively played really well because, Pat Mahomes, I don't even think threw for over 200, and Tua only threw for like 190. And then if you can hold Kelsey for 2 for 14, then you're doing a really good job defensively. And I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping. What Flam said too, the rookie Devon Achan. Hopefully he comes back from IR, and that would work things out because Savon Ahmed is not no more Savon Ahmed, man.
All right. Hey, is that everything?
For like both of us.
Yeah. Nick, are you done? Everything good?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me give my take, and then we could just kind of like all of us chime in. When it comes to the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs, so number one, I was disappointed at the Dolphins. Like most of you have said, I have high expectations of the Dolphins. I really think the Dolphins have the right personnel, the coaching staff. A lot of people are talking and saying that, me, I listen to a lot the Big O radio show, and Big O is saying some things, and people are saying other stuff. What ends up happening, what I feel like the coaching still is an area of opportunity, but I don't feel they're doing such a bad job. I mean, if you look at it, we've only lost to the Buffalo Bills, who obviously that's the one that's kind of shaky. But Philadelphia and Kansas City are Super Bowl contenders. I mean, those guys were there last year. So it's like you're making it such a big deal that like like if we don't deserve to even be in the same category as those guys. Dude, we lost to the Kansas City Chiefs by 7, right? To the Eagles, we lost by 14. To the Buffalo Bills, I believe we lost by 28. So each game has been trending in the right direction when it comes defensively. And on the defensive side, we have, to shut down the Kansas City Chiefs. And yeah, people are going to go ahead and say, hey, look, the Miami Dolphins play the Kansas City Chiefs. That's not the same powerhouse as they were last year. I don't give a damn, man. You got Travis Kelce out there. You got Pacheco. Those guys can still ball out. If you could shut those guys down, the Dolphins are a legit defense, and they're getting better and better. So when it comes to the defense, I'm feeling more and more confident with the defense. Now let's talk about the offense. I'm a little bit concerned. And look, man, you guys know I like Tua. I still have belief that Tua is the man. But I still feel that sometimes he just, I don't know if he's the right guy, man. Like sometimes I am 100% with him, and then sometimes like some of the stuff that he does, bro, it just keeps me wondering, like, what the hell? Like, I understand they're saying that the last pass where Tua threw that and Cedric Wilson ran a go route instead of an out route, that was Cedric Wilson and Tua's miscommunication. I don't give a damn if that's a miscommunication. That shouldn't be happening. I mean, Cedric
Especially
Wilson,
after a timeout too.
yeah, Cedric Wilson is not a rookie. This is not his first year with the Dolphins. He's been with the Dolphins before. And then on top of that, dude, like he made a touchdown pass a couple of drives ago. Like, why in the world are you not in communication? I don't give a damn what it is. You need to go ahead and get the job done. This is what you get paid for. And so does Tua. And I'm not going to go and say, oh, it's on Cedric Wilson. No, man, it's on both of them because both of them made the mistake. How are you in a huddle, right? At the heat of the moment? It's like us three talking right now. And I tell you, yo, Flam, you got to go run straight. And Nick, you got to run right. And then all of a sudden, I throw the ball left. Nah, man, get the hell out of here, bro. Like, that's not how it works. We're there. We're all talking. I know it's loud. I know it's everything. But they weren't playing in Kansas City. They were playing in Germany. So it wasn't that bad. The other thing I want to say is people are criticizing Mike McDaniel because the first 2 plays of that drive, where that final drive that we had, Raheem Mostert ran, and he was the one that got us down to like the 30-yard line. Dude, if you look at the linebackers of the Kansas City Chiefs, they were backing out. So those couple of plays when they were doing it, they were purposely protecting the ball getting thrown. They didn't want to go deep because they didn't want to get burned because their whole
argument. They didn't want to get deep by the top.
Exactly. So what did they do? They allowed the running back to run. Now, granted, I don't think they were expecting Raheem Mostert to break it out like that, but they weren't bringing the linebackers forward to stop the run. So for you to go ahead and complain and say, yo, why didn't Mike McDaniel run the football in those 4 tries that they had? Because literally they had 4 tries and all 4 of them were throwing. They weren't running any of them. I mean, dude, it's like I'm not gonna knock him for it. Like, I mean, could you have run? Yeah, but is that the reason why we lost? No, dude. The reason we lost was because we got down 21-0 in the first half. So when people say, "Hey, look, Mike McDaniel is underachieving," or when they say, the Miami Dolphins are not legit contenders against powerhouse teams and stuff like that, I think it's all bullcrap. The Dolphins are a very solid team. We just need to go ahead and get our shit together and finally make it happen where everything clicks, man. And I am not only blaming Tua, I'm not only blaming Cedric Wilson, Tyreek Hill, I'm blaming the whole offense, man, because the whole offense is a unit, and that's who needs to freaking show out. And when we play against these hard teams, guys, notice that the Miami Dolphins have struggled scoring, bro. They're not scoring high-powered offense like they do with the shitty teams. So that's my opinion. I think the Dolphins need the break. I'm glad they have the bye week. Now, next week, we got the Raiders. As long as we beat the Raiders, I think the Dolphins are fine. You understand me?
The Dolphins will be fine. I think, it's a little bit worrisome, and I think everyone, or not everyone, but both of you hit it on the nail on the head, right? Where defensively, you guys have been able to stop pretty good teams. Yeah, Bills that game, but me being a Bill fan that I am, I don't see that happening again week 18 or whatever the week that we play you guys. But I am surprised they're just not scoring, because if you ask me, right, the defense is great. Ramsey's back. You got your corners. You got good linemen. It's essentially to hold off a team like Kansas City by 21 points. That's winning. That would be a winning atmosphere for anyone that's on that team.
True. The
other side, though, is where it's shocker. I mean, they're not scoring on good defenses. And that's where, I have my takes on Tua. I think he's a great quarterback for sure. I just have a feeling that, when crunch times like that, something happens, And I there's a lot to say, and I know we'll probably jump into the Bills segment. I'm having my doubts on Josh Adage at times. Do I wish I had Cheetah and Waddle? Yes. Stephon Diggs is a great replacement. Don't get me wrong. He is a top receiver, but that's the only guy we have on that end. Regardless, throwing it back to the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are built on a team that should be scoring 35 points and allowing 21 at best. And you guys won that Chiefs game. The offense lost it for it, and that's the only blame you can really put on it. But essentially, you still have a whole season. You still have half a season left and a lot more games to play. I think if nothing wrong goes with Tua, they're going to figure it out. McDaniel is a good coach who come up with really good schemes, and a bye week for him is going to be plentiful, I think, to come back and and really, really mess up. Who are we playing? Raiders? You guys playing Raiders?
Yeah, the Raiders.
The Raiders good. Raiders don't even know what quarterback they got, so you're good. That's my.
Yeah, I mean, the Raiders. Well, I will give you this though, man. The Raiders are actually, they fired their coach. They just finished firing that coach, and they actually were competitive. I don't know if they won this past weekend.
Can we talk about that? Weekend? Can we talk about that a little second though? Did you hear the team got it together? The team got together and we're like, "Yo, we don't like you. We just don't like you anymore." They got together collectively. Wow. That must have been a real bad coach. Like, there's no way to put it back around it. Like, collectively, they got together to say, "You suck." And then eventually the GM. I mean, he had like 5 years left, 80-something mil, and he's eating it.
Yeah.
He's eating it. Yeah, because he's that bad of a coach.
But you want to know something? This was his second go around with the Raiders. That's the crazy part. That's his second go around.
I thought this was his second go around as a head coach, but it wasn't with the Raiders.
I thought he was a Broncos head coach.
I think maybe he was with
this Belichick tree overall. Just any of those guys that try to branch out for some strange reason,
they
like cursed, dude. It's like, yo, you're not doing good, bro. That's
he is collectively got in the worst and fixed them up, and then as soon as he's done with them, like Aaron Hernandez, but yeah, I mean, he's had so many people, like, it's just crazy. I mean, that's a good head coach, I guess, in Belichick, but yeah, what's ever going on with the Raiders, I think McDaniel gets you guys beyond ready to do some damage on them, especially if they're playing this week and he can see more of the new coach. I mean, new coach and new quarterback who's playing, see what schemes are.
Well, you know who the Raiders are playing this weekend, right? They're playing the Jets. So watch out, because that's gonna be a good game. But let's do a little segment over to the Jets now, right? So let's talk a little bit about the Jets, and then we'll leave Buffalo, because I know Flan wants to talk about Buffalo, and I want to talk about Buffalo because I have some questions
I
to
got
ask
shit to
Flan
talk
about.
about Buffalo. Pissing
All
me
right.
off.
All right, so first and foremost, let's talk about the Jets. And the Jets, I'm happy that the Jets lost, because I actually feel like they're the best team in the division if they had Aaron Rodgers. That's just me, man.
He's off clutches.
Dude, the guy, Aaron Rodgers.
Going already.
I think he might be back sooner than expected. I think he's like full. If he comes back and the records are still as close as they are, be scared that they don't make a 3-game run back or
And
4.
look, you said it that the Jets, dude, if we have the Jets and the Dolphins going right next to each other, right? That Jets defense is the only thing I respect right now. That and Tua, remember you mentioned it, and I mentioned it, and even my brother sometimes has mentioned it. Tua's shaky sometimes, and Tua has not played this Jets defense for what? Because he didn't play last year because he was out for both games against the Jets. So
Yeah, he was.
imagine now against the Jets on Black Friday, because that's when they're playing right after Thanksgiving. It's going to be a primetime game again, and you know how we've been doing bad in primetime games. So
He wasn't a part of the team when you guys beat him earlier in the season. Tua?
Well, he played them not last year, the year before. But keep in mind, last year was the first year with Mike McDaniel. So we don't know if he's going to be as successful when it comes to that type of offense against the Jets defense, because we haven't seen it yet. And you know what everybody knows. Let's keep it real, man. Tua is a spot thrower, dude. He throws in particular spots, and the receiver has to be there. So if they push a receiver off and they're off by a little bit, then that's when, that's what eventually happens a lot, when you see him throw a pass and he's like, who the hell was he throwing it to? Or sometimes you'll see, or you'll see him actually like throw a football and by God, they almost intercepted it because they're just throwing it to the spot and he expects the receiver to get there. So it's just, it's yes, please.
It's a little too hot.
I'm glad you took that scarf off. Thank you, sir. Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
Like the belt, like if it was WWE right now.
So, but I was happy to see that the Jets did lose on Monday night. A lot of Jets fans were hyped. I don't know about you guys, but I follow a couple of
the Jets.
I follow a couple of those Jets fan base, and I was trolling them all day. I was like, "Yo, Zach Wilson sucks." I was like, I was telling them, "Yo, you know what? You guys aren't gonna win." I mean, and typical dude. Look at Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was trash, man. That guy is dude. If you think the Dolphins wasted a draft pick on Tua, at least we're not the Jets. The Jets spent their number 2 to get.
You know who Russell Wilson really reminds me of?
Who?
You ever seen Blue Mountain State, the backup quarterback who just wanted to be a backup so he could go and have fun around the campus? You gotta look it up, man. I forget the guy's name right now, but he's essentially he's just a backup quarterback. He just wants to party until second season comes around and he's the head quarterback and he hates it. That's what's happening to Wilson right now. He's like, damn, I got Aaron Rodgers. I'll get better. I'll get there eventually, but he had to.
Can you imagine? Damn, all my vacation, all the vacations that I had.
Oh, okay, my bad. But yeah, I don't believe in Russell Wilson. The Jets defense is just really good, and I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I respect that defense hands down, bro. I actually have the Dolphins losing both games against the Jets because of that defense.
Did you? Really? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that, man. I had them both losing them to the Jets defense, but with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback. I think we have enough to beat them in New York, and I think we have enough to beat them in here, Miami. And then remember, we're gonna have All-Chain back. So if we have All-Chain back, that's gonna help us out a lot because I think he's an up-and-coming running back for the Dolphins. I think he's gonna, unfortunately, because I have Raheem Mostert on my fantasy draft, in my fantasy team. I think he's gonna be number 1, and then Raheem is gonna be pushed down to number 2. But if we have All-Chain and we have the receiving core clicking again and the offensive line is up to date. I mean, look at Connor. Connor Williams did a pretty good job, although he did do that stupid mistake at the end. But him and Teron Armstead and these guys, they're not bad, dude. And again, the thing about Tua is that he's not holding on to the ball. He's throwing the ball really quickly, and that helps people not get to him as quickly to sack him. So I think that overall, I think the Dolphins should beat the Jets.
I just hope the Dolphins incorporate Chase Claypool just a little bit more. I feel like that Kansas City Chiefs game, we were missing a Mike Gesicki. You feel me? I feel like that type of player that can give you those tough catches at 5-10 yard ranges would be great. But I think Chase Claypool right now still not, he hasn't grasped it correctly. I mean, he made the mistake in having that false start, so that kind of hurt the offense. But he also came through because I don't know if you remember, but someone punched out the ball on Raheem Mostert, I believe it was, and they fumbled the ball, and Chase Claypool was the first one to get on top of it. So he's making plays, but he's also making mistakes. It's all part of the process. But hopefully, I have high hopes for this guy. This guy is what, like 6'3", man? I mean,
He's a big dude.
and that's the problem with the Dolphins. That's why they got to throw the ball so fast, because they don't have the height to kind of like let the ball float. So they just gotta do these zip passes that are gonna just be like, all right, they're down low and very, very hard to kind of intercept, because you got smaller guys who are able to reach it down there and kind of not have any, interruption, and just run really fast and just, take it to the end zone. But that's, I think, what people are noticing about the Dolphins. And now, like you said, disrupt the timing and the spot throwing, and I think Tua needs a little bit more help with, even though he has all that talent. I think Chase Claypool with his height.
Well, look, Tua right now on the Kansas City game, he had a 61% completion rate. He had 193 yards passing. He had 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and his QBR was 87. For the year, he is at 69% completion rate, so he's almost at 70, which is better than the year before, because the year before he was at 64.8. He has over 2,000. He has 2,600 yards passing. He has 19 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. So he's almost close to last year's picks, because last year's picks he had 8. But keep in mind, he did miss a couple of games. But his QBR is still up there. He's at 106, and last year he was at 105. So Tua's not bad.
As long as we win the division, sorry, Flam. As long as we win the division, I think we're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with Nick. Like having one of those throw it up and catch receivers is going to be effective for Tua. It's what I think, Frank, you pointed out to earlier. He's such a area thrower, right? It's like a target. It's like a spot for him. Yeah. For him to do that sometimes, it seems hard for sure. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to put it in football terms, because it just seems like he is a good football thrower. Right, if he could get you on a stride at times, and then sometimes he just throws it off completely, and just kind of just it's like if it's not, yeah, it's weird. It's weird to explain, but a throw it up and catch a receiver is essential, and I think Clay is someone who can really fill that spot if Tua can hit him.
Definitely.
The other thing I wanted to mention it to you guys was on the Jets and the Chargers. So check this out, man. That's why the defense is going to be interesting with the defense. Look what Justin Herbert did. Justin Herbert had 136 yards passing, dude. He had nothing. He went 16 for 30. So, he he got half of his completions in. Zach Wilson, who the Jets are all saying, get rid of him. He sucks and all stuff. Dude, the guy had 263 yards passing, and he went 33 for 49. So he actually played better than Justin Herbert. The only thing that didn't work for them is that they would do stupid things where they would turn over the ball. I don't know if you guys watched the game. I watched the game, and it was like they would they would do a fumble, or he would get sacked at the wrong moment, or a penalty. Their offensive lineman, Billy Turner, that's their right tackle. But that guy sucks. And if I'm not mistaken, Billy Turner used to be with the Dolphins. If I'm not mistaken, he
sounds familiar. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna look him up, because I think Billy Turner used to be with the Dolphins, and I think that's one of the reasons. When they keep mentioning Billy Turner, I'm like, wow, man, that guy. I'm glad he's no longer. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, so check this out. Billy Turner was with the Dolphins back in 2014 and 2016. Then he went to the Baltimore Ravens, the Broncos, the Packers. He went back to the Broncos for a year.
Journeyman.
And then he went and now he's with the Jets. But that guy sucks, man. If you guys watch that game, or if you see the highlights, bro, that guy was getting murdered. But murdered, it was bad. It was just really, really bad. Any last thing you guys want to talk about when it comes to the Jets and the Chargers?
Not so much on the game, but more on what's next for the Jets. I think that's a really good observation that you guys have, both when it comes to the ending of the season. The last 5 games that the Jets have, At home is Texas and Commanders, and then away they have the Dolphins, they have the Patriots, and they have the Browns. So those are kind of key, games that they have going on. And you never know, maybe one of those games, it's a playoff clinching spot for them. In case, our boy Discount Double Check, Aaron Rodgers comes back. His recovery is like right now, people are saying, yo, he didn't even tore his Achilles. It was all bullshit. They were saying that this man is just, just going at it right now. So I don't know, man. He's been throwing footballs and stuff like that. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, he is back on his feet. So he seems like he's trying to rush back. It's still a close record, so could make a comeback for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this: if we want to talk about the prediction of their game, they're going against the Raiders, bro, and they're playing. Are they playing in the Jets or are they playing at the Raiders? They're playing at the Raiders. So they're playing in Las Vegas, bro. You know what, man? I hate the Jets. I'm going with the Raiders. I say the Raiders beat them. I say they pull off the victory. I think Zach Wilson is going to struggle again. I say the Raiders beat them 28-7. What do you guys think?
Raiders beat the Jets 28-7.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little closer. I'll say Raiders 17-14.
Wow, you're picking the Raiders though too.
Yeah, I'm picking the Raiders. I don't believe in Wilson unless he goes to his best friend's mom or whatever that story was. Maybe he gets a little quickie before the game. Maybe he throws crazy. Who knows? I mean, he goes for 4 TDs after he gets a little stroke on. But other than that, I don't see him really. I don't see him really doing much. I think the running game will probably help out, and maybe the running game will go over for 150 yards on the Raiders. I don't think they have a good run defense, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. What about you, Nick? What do you think? You think the Raiders or the Jets?
Nah, man, I'm gonna go the opposite. I think right now, I don't know if you guys, well, I guess because I'm a Dolphins fan for so long, we've had some interim coaches before, and I feel like the trend with interim coaches is that they have like 2 good games and then they always flop like on the 3rd and 4th and then 5th. So I think the Jets are going to find a way to kind of disrupt that chemistry and really outcoach them because, I think the coach that the Jets have is pretty solid. And as long as Breece Hall can probably run for 150 and Wilson throws for 200 and 2 touchdowns, I don't mind. I don't see why the Jets wouldn't win. I'll probably get them winning close game 21-17.
All right, I got one last question to ask you guys, and this is because I heard it today. They interviewed Saleh. I'm not sure if it was on the radio or was it on TV. I don't remember, but they asked him, hey, man, why are you not playing Trevor Siemian, their backup? They're the backup behind Zach Wilson. Why isn't
better, bro?
And Saleh plead the fifth on that interview, like straight up.
Wow.
What do you think about that? Do you think was that the right decision to say that? Could he have answered a different way? What do you guys, or should he have just said, you know what? I'm gonna try it.
No,
at this point, man, I don't know.
I think it's funny he pleads the fifth. I mean, it says it all right there. But essentially, Aaron Rodgers is their guy. So I mean, him having not to answer it didn't matter.
I think. Go ahead, my bad.
No, it's funny because it's like he probably doesn't even want Zach Wilson to be a quarterback. He probably just cares to have him as a backup, and he's been having to fill him in now since he's been injured. But knowing maybe he does know Rodgers is going to be back or projected to be back in 3 weeks, so he's like, let me just stay quiet about this. I'd rather not have Wilson, but he is just a guy, and we have to keep him happy.
I personally feel that he should not have said that he plead the fifth. I think what he should have said is like, look, Zach Wilson is our man. He's the one who's been running the show. I think you still preach. You give that rah, this is my quarterback no matter what. Yes, maybe some of the New York Jets fans are going to be upset, but I still will go ahead and like support him. And then if I feel that I need it, like if he messes up again, screw that guy. Put him in the bench. It doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt. You don't want to give negative comments on your quarterback, but then what you do on the field, whatever, as long as the result works for them, do it. That's how I feel. I think pleading fifth was kind of like a little cop out on his end, but maybe not. Maybe not. Let's talk about the Bills, Flam's team right there, bro. The Buffalo Bills. So the Buffalo Bills went against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Tough
and
matchup.
they lost 24-18. Let's start with Flan because he's a Bills fan. What did you think about Cincinnati giving the Bills another L, and now the Bills having 4 losses on their losing column, which is more than what they had last year, if I'm not mistaken?
Somewhat. I think I forget what the record was last year. But first and foremost, I got to give it a record. Kudos to the Cincinnati Bengals. So I learned this recently. I didn't realize or didn't know Joe Burrow was
Bro.
injured the first few games of the season. I think he was injured. He had like a ankle sprain or he rolled his ankle, something to do with his ankle or calf. And that's why he wasn't even playing as well as he is. But the last 4 games, I mean, this guy is looking like Super Bowl Joe Burrow. So I think he's gonna kill it. And so right now, I think I saw Poyer, which is the president of Barstools. He ended up putting up a bunch of bets on the Bengals after that game because the guy is just good. The guy's good. The defense is great. As long as you have those 2 elements working for you, you're gonna see success. But on the opposite end, I don't know what to say anymore about the Bills themselves. I think we held the Bengals where we needed to, and then the Bengals held us even worse, which then makes me feel it's more offensively. Josh Allen this offseason, I mean, at least up here, he was a bunch of commercials. I think he was doing podcasts. I think he's a little too famous, which is that Madden curse too, which he has in the cover. And I think he's out of it a little bit. He thinks he could just make any play possible, and it's not working out. I do so wholeheartedly believe we don't have a second available option at times. Gabe Davis is a good one, but I still feel he is flaky in most games. If he gets people the ball, people are dropping the ball as well. So the only reliable one, I mean, the difference between receptions so far on Diggs and the second one, which is Dalton, the tight end, is 30 catches over, and not to say that he needs to spread it around, but I don't think that's a fair number for a quarterback just to be aiming at one. That entirely over everybody else. I mean, he is good. He is open. He is catching the balls, but I feel like a second help would help at least Josh Allen in his mobility when he gets out of the pocket and being able to throw on the run. But overall, Josh Allen to me has kind of regressed a little bit. I don't see him really, the things that you need to do as a quarterback, which is, hey, take a sack sometimes or, take a loss. Don't extend the play to cause a mistake. And it's just been too many mistakes this season, too many fumbles, too many little issues there that I'm just like strangling myself with, which is now I relate it back to coaching. Like McDermott should have that figured out. And McDermott should be cleaning those mistakes up. I don't know if he's doing the superstar effect where it's like let Josh Allen be free, but even in the offseason, there's a little pickle going on with Stephon Diggs. It means that there's some atmosphere in there that's not being the right culture. And I'm big on culture. I love the Miami Heat. I love Barcelona. They're big on there's a certain way to play a certain game, right? And I don't know what's going on in the locker room right now. So that little bit of mistakes, people feeling like maybe even Diggs being like, yo, my time's passing by right in front of me. He is a great receiver. There's nothing we could really put against him. He does his routes. He's open. We have Poyer on the defense, who is phenomenal, always covering midfield, and he's literally just a stopper for us. We've had also very good success with Bernard, which is the left back, and Hyde. I mean, there's a couple of people on our defensive side that I could just name that are doing great. Offensively, my problem is I don't see anyone else other than Allen and Diggs. Cook is good. He's averaging 4.7 yards. But when times are needed, sometimes we end up having a second and long because we don't have any production from our backfield. Josh Allen is in second, which is a scary thing to say, in carries and yards. So that's not winning football. He is a mobile quarterback. I think I've always compared them to a Big Ben, but a more mobile Big Ben. But you essentially don't want that from your quarterback. I mean, you guys know about that with Tua. You guys want someone who's more of a pocket passer, slings the ball out. And there's a lot of times that, his first coverage, his first outlook is completely covered. Like Gabe Davis doesn't really separate from his coverage. He's just locked on it. The only one who's constantly pretty much open is Diggs. So that's kind of my take. I don't see them going far. They just haven't proven themselves this season. I know people have them highly ranked. I do think Josh Allen could be someone who could pull through. He's just not showing me his maturity this season. He's showing me immaturity, which essentially is just going to lead to bad mistakes and costing us the game. But if that could be handled, if that could be a head coach change potentially, because I don't think McDermott is. I mean, people aren't realizing that we're having our prime with good defense at least. And if we could get the capability of getting a better receiver, the potential of having a good window to make it to the Super Bowl.
Definitely, man.
What about you, Nick?
I feel like right now the Bills, they've been having some pretty bad luck when it comes to injuries, man. I mean, losing Milano and other key players. What's his name? I know his last name is Knox. I know they have Kincaid right now, but Dawson Knox, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's another pretty big loss because he was another target. Trent Sherfield, the acquisition from Miami, hasn't been doing that much either. Gabe Davis, he has his moments where he looks like, the second receiver, but then doesn't even look like to be third or fourth. And then you got Diggs, who, man, he's a great player. Like Flam says, the guy can create separation, has good route running skills. But I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like he needs to learn how to communicate. I feel like he's so sporadic with his emotions right now, man, and it's holding the team back. And I think it was on Sunday, he was telling his teammates, "Yo, pass me the ball. I'm not even sweating." And it's like don't communicate like that. Just be like, "Yo, give me the ball. I got you." You don't have to kind of get that weird animosity, And I think Josh Allen right now, like Flam says, I think a lot of variables outside of football can cause a lot of distraction. And right now, I like how he said about making plays that are not, you can't make any stretching out plays. Sometimes you just got to throw the ball away or kind of just take the sack, or like sliding down, but don't put that amount of, pressure and possibility of, getting into a sticky situation. And to me, I think the Bills right now, they are kind of in a mixed pickle. I can't doubt the Bills yet. They still got Josh Allen. They have a nice defense. That Bernard kid, I've seen that he stepped it up for the linebackers. So I think right now it just all depends on how, like Flam says, McDermott controls the team. Right now, Ken Dorsey, I think the offensive coordinator, compared to Brian Daboll, hasn't really been showing the same production. I think Brian Daboll, my apologies, Brian Daboll was a really good offensive coordinator for him. And right now with Ken Dorsey, he still does nice numbers, but there's a little statistic I saw that in the past 5 games, Josh Allen has thrown in an interception. So he's right now in a 5-game interception streak. And I mean, if you kind of have those type of, turnovers, it can really, cause you the difference of the game. I mean, what was the score yesterday? 20. What was the score, Frank?
It was
24-18.
There, sorry.
28-14?
24-18.
24-18. Look at that, 6 points right there, man. I mean, that's my take.
Okay. I'm gonna say this. Look, man. Josh Allen is having career numbers this year, man. I'm looking up his numbers right now. Dude, the guy has 71% completion rate, which is better than any time he's been with the Buffalo Bills. He has 2,423 yards. He has 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he has a QBR rating of 99.6, which is higher than the last 2 years that he's been there. His game against the Bengals, dude, he had 258 yards passing. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had a QBR 85.2. He completed about 68%. Look, man, I'm
Yeah, I
not gonna
saw some. Yeah.
I'm not gonna blame Josh Allen, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna blame Ken Dorsey. I think the problem with Buffalo is their offensive coordinator. He sucks. Ever since the other guy dipped to the Giants, dude, what have they
Brian
done? They
Dable.
haven't been able to do anything, bro. And I know Chad. Thank you, Chad, for joining on the chat. Chad said that all the receivers are divas. They are, man. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta, you guys, like, hands down, like Stephon Diggs is always bitching and complaining and all that stuff. Like
It's
it,
bad, man.
it just sucks that, like, you want to go ahead and you. I want Buffalo to lose. Believe me, I'm not a Buffalo fan. I'm happy that they're losing.
Divisional opponent we don't want to lose. Patriots, Jets, or Bills.
But this
Fair.
this is my take. This is my take. I honestly feel that the Buffalo Bills are gonna miss the playoffs, and this is the reason why, man. Look at their schedule. Okay, so they got the Broncos next. They should win that game, right?
Yeah, they
Broncos.
should.
Yeah.
It's prime time though. It's on Monday night, so they're playing Broncos. Then they got the Jets, but this time they're playing the Jets at home. They should win that game, right?
They're undefeated at home, so I'm gonna give that to the.
I'll give it to them. Okay, so right now their record. Let's take a look at their record. Their record is
6
It'll
and
be
5 and 4.
5 and 4. 5 and 4. 5 and 4. 5 and 4. So yes, they have lost more than last year, because last year they ended the season 13 and 3. So they already lost more games this year than last year. So if we have the Bills are 5 and 4, right? They beat the
Jets and the Broncos.
Okay, so
Broncos.
so that will make them 7 and 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then here comes the hard guys, bro. You got the Eagles.
That's my hard take. That I'm actually gonna go for the Bills on this one.
All right, so you say the Bills are going to be 7 and 5, it's 8 and 4, that they're going to beat the Eagles.
Yeah, I think we lose to the Chiefs though, but that's just my.
All right, I say that they lose against the Eagles. Nick, you have them winning or beating the Eagles, or losing to the Eagles?
I don't know, man. Right now, not to go too into depth, but right now Jalen Hurts, he's battling this weird knee injury right now, man, and it's not looking good for him. Luckily, he's on a bye next week, so he will be able to be up and running for the next game. But still, is it gonna be at the Eagles or at the Bills?
It's at the Eagles.
I'll tell you right now, it is at the Eagles. Yes, correct. Flam's right.
That's tough.
My entire body and the way I should think is to go for the Eagles. I just feel like it's going to be a cold environment that doesn't really change much. It's just the environment of Philadelphia over, but they've had some close games recently. My take, they have battled at the end. I haven't seen them play a good defense, but that's just my take at the moment.
I see them losing against the Eagles. So then after that, you got the Chiefs. You have them losing against the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, I actually do have them losing against the Chiefs.
Okay,
we just don't get lucky with the Chiefs.
And I have them losing against the Chiefs as well. So right before that, right there, you're at 8 and 5. I'm at 7 and 6. Nick, are you for the Eagles? Were you going for the Eagles, or were you going for Bills?
I'll say they'll lose against the Eagles. That environment is too insane right now. And then do they play the Chiefs at the Chiefs or at the Bills?
They play the Chiefs at the Chiefs as well.
Oh my God, what a fucking crazy back-to-back. I would say, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think they're gonna pull off a win against the Chiefs at the Chiefs.
Okay, so you have it also 8 and 5 if that's the case. Then they got the Cowboys, and they got the Cowboys at Buffalo.
Yeah, no, I'm going all Bills. Just Bills at home they're just different. It's just different for me. I don't know why.
So you got them going 9 and 5. Nick, Cowboys, win or loss?
I got them winning, yeah. The Bills at Bills, man, it's just different.
All right, I got them winning as well. So 8 and 6. So then after that, we have the Chargers, and they're playing the Chargers in Los Angeles.
If the defense is able to stop Herbert and Allen doesn't go crazy, yeah, I mean in a bad way, I think they should be able to beat the Chargers. The Chargers have been, top 15 team at best.
Okay, so you got them winning. So 10 and 5. Yeah. Nick, against the Chargers, you got them winning or losing?
I think for this one, I got the Chargers winning.
Oh, wow. Okay. Any reason in particular?
I think it looks like the Chargers are they're getting the groove on offensively, and I think
Okay.
even though the display that they played against the Jets wasn't the best display, but they're getting the job done, you know. So I think they'll pull it off, especially with the Bills' linebacker core. They're pretty beat up right now. So
All right, I got them also beating the Chargers, so I have them 9-6, and then the next game should be the Patriots. I'm pretty sure all of us are going to say the Bills are going to win that game, right?
Yeah, it's at home for the Bills
yeah, it's
too.
at home against no.
Okay, so
Yeah, right.
we have that, and then the very last game is against the Dolphins in Miami.
We lose. I think the Dolphins come different mentality against that game. Just that the last two games have been the playoffs, and what we did to you guys during the season now. And I think it was just I think the Bills spoke too much shit after that game. That's just me. That's just my personal take. And Cheetah, I feel like he's too much of a he remembers shit.
I have him also losing against the Dolphins. What do you think, Nick?
I have the Dolphins winning. I think it's gonna be a flex game. I think that's gonna be a primetime Sunday night football. I think that's gonna be the game that's gonna decide who wins the division. Either the Bills. I can't rule out the Bills yet. I know they're 5-4 right now, but dude, they've won the division the past 4 or 5 years. You gotta respect the pace, man. So
all right, so then check this out. If based on our records, both myself and my brother, we have the Bills going 10-7, and Flam, you got the Bills going 11-6.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, is 10? Let's say 10. Worst case scenario, is 10 wins enough to get you into the playoffs?
I
don't know, man. I don't think so.
Against,
I think so.
10 who else? 10 games. Who else? I think in a wild card, yeah.
I don't know, dude. Because then look at that other division with Is it the Jacksonville Jaguars in that division? I forgot. Let me see.
I mean, right now the teams that are fighting for playoff spots are the Browns, the Chargers, obviously the Bills, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, look, let me share this with you guys.
Because right now the divisional leaders are Kansas City, Miami, Jacksonville, and if I'm not mistaken, it's
Jacksonville and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Is the Chiefs, Jags, Dolphins, and who else?
Ravens. Sorry.
Ravens. There you go.
But I don't see who's second place other than you
guys see
talking
this?
about AFC North division
and watch out for Houston, bro. CJ Stroud, man, that guy is fire.
Yep.
So check this out. You see,
that rookie, bro.
So right now the Dolphins are 6-3, right? And then Buffalo is 5-4. The AFC North, the Ravens are 7-2, and everybody else is 5-3.
Wow.
Everybody else, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and the Bengals. And you know the Bengals are gonna come in. They're coming in hot. Jacksonville 6-2. Then you got Houston 4-4. Those are the top two. And then at the very bottom, it's Kansas City 7-2 and the Chargers 4-4. And it looks like maybe the Chargers are starting to kind of get hot as well. I don't know, man. I don't know if 10 wins is going to be enough to get you to the playoffs.
I hate to say this out loud, especially live. I forgot who just won the Super Bowl last year. Was it the Eagles?
No, Chiefs. It was the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think I want to be really honest about the AFC for the next 2 or 3 years. Will have just the Super Bowl winner in the division. It doesn't matter. I mean, what you're seeing in the North and what you're seeing even with the Jets that are basically Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we're talking about like 7 teams in one division that can easily be Super Bowl contenders. Whereas the NFC, they have the Eagles and they only have a few more individuals. That has just never been a contender to me. I got to give the Lions credit where credit's due. I think they just look nice. And the 49ers. After that, there's no one else in the NFC for the next 3 years are going to win. So it's someone in the AFC. Who makes it out of there? I don't know. I do believe the Bills could potentially still make it out into the wild card, but I mean, we just lost to the Bengals, so that's not going to help.
I think
the chances are slim, you know?
I think the problem is I don't think the Bills are ever going to get over the hump of beating Cincinnati or the Chiefs. And then the problem is like what I think Chad had said it, or somebody had said it on the chat board, that their window has closed. So now they're gonna have to start paying more and more of these guys or lose them. Same thing with the Dolphins. So we're gonna have to start like making decisions, tough decisions of who we're gonna keep and who we're not gonna keep. And then at the end of the day, the only team that kind of has hope to actually like surpass us would be the Jets if they figure out their situation with their offensive line and their quarterback. But at the end of the day, bro, like I don't know if the AFC East could actually get an actual Super Bowl contender out of there, because the closest this year would be Miami, obviously.
Yeah.
Buffalo comes a close second. But then after that, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't, I mean, remember, Tyreek Hill also said with the Dolphins that he was going to leave eventually afterwards. So, like, dude, and if we lose Tyreek Hill, dude, we don't have, like, I like Jalen Waddle. I think he's great, but he's no Tyreek Hill. We know that. He's already proved that he drops balls and he doesn't run as fast as Tyreek Hill. He's still a great receiver, but he's not a Tyreek Hill. Let's just keep it real. So, I don't know, man. It's going to be a tough decision, but let's jump out of football a little bit and let's go to a little bit of basketball. When it comes to the basketball, ladies and gentlemen, all three of us are Miami Heat fans. And as you can tell, Nick back there is a Miami Heat fan. He's representing the Heat. The Heat had a really good game against the Los Angeles Lakers. That little bitch, LeBron James, kept bitching and complaining about fouls not being called on him and all this crap. What did you guys think about LeBron James being a little bitch and saying that he wasn't gonna, like, he was complaining, saying, "Yo, they didn't call fouls in the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter." Like, come on, man, stop being a little bitch, bro. Come on.
Well, we could definitely say he's a bitch now in reference to bitch, because a report came out saying that there was no foul calls that weren't called. So I will say that, yeah, he was bitching. He was bitching. But it is LeBron James, and you know, he knows what he's doing. I feel like this is not. What he's doing is preparing himself for the future. And essentially, you know, the hot take is now going to be on refs, right? If there is really no foul calls, maybe the NBA is starting to turn the page on LeBron. He's no longer the face of the NBA. I mean, he has been 21 years, and for them not to say there wasn't even a foul call, it's literally all calls were right. It's them saying, fuck you, you know? Like, it's it. It's time to move on. I feel like it. Like, if not, I just feel like he's gotten all his calls every time he wants it. And if he hasn't, I mean, what was it? Was it last year or was it this year? Already in the beginning of the game, the year, maybe I think it was the Boston Celtics that he lost.
That was last year.
That he got slapped in the hand. It was a clear foul, and he did not get the call. And it's starting to be like, maybe it's time to turn the page. He's no longer, you know, the superstar they want to respect.
With that,
maybe that's a crazy theory on mine, because I don't get it.
With that, I want to bring this up, guys, and this is what we have. I wanted to bring up this controversy because this little bitch keeps talking shit about the Miami Heat, and I don't appreciate it. So this is what LeBron James said. He says that the Heat culture, and obviously you guys, I'm going to pull it up. We're going to talk about it in a minute, about the whole new look of the Miami Heat this season. But he is going ahead and saying that he goes and he says here, I'm going to start from here. It says, I think I would still be at this. I think I would still be at this level, no matter if I would have came here or not. Let's not get it twisted. The 4 years I was here, it was amazing. I loved everything about it. Loved this franchise. This franchise is a top tier. It's one of the best franchises in the world. He later says, but as far as my career was going to be my career as far as individually, because I know how much I put into the game and I know how much I strive to be as great as I can be. As far as what I was able to learn here was second to none. That's for sure. So now let me ask you guys, and we're going to talk about this, right? This is what we're going to talk about here. This guy is saying that he still would have been the LeBron James that he is right now, whether he was in the Miami Heat or he wasn't. Do you agree with those comments? Let's start with Nick first. Nick, what did you think? Do you think he would have been the same LeBron?
Shake my head for LeBron saying that individually he would still be pulling up those type of stats. I mean, having teammates like Bosch and Wade, it kind of creates a whole different setup for every opponent. So for him to say that, you know, maybe he will still put up the same points, maybe, but what he has achieved individually, like MVPs and stuff like that, nah, man. you're crazy, bro. And then just the Heat culture. I mean, haven't you noticed that everybody who's been, trained and developed, and I don't want to say brainwashed, but pretty much brainwashed by the Heat culture, yo, they just play well, except for Kyle Lowry. But aside from that, I
BBO.
think BBO. I think LeBron. It's just like it's kind of like saying, oh, if Tom Brady never did the Patriots, he was still statistically would have done the best. Same, like, nah, dude, like that's insane. Like, no.
Good comparison. Good example. Flam, what do you think, bro? What do you think about LeBron James and his comments?
I'm gonna be honest. Yes, so he's gonna be the same. So what I wanted to break off with what Nick said, and I do agree. I don't think he wins 2 rings there. Okay, so LeBron has taken 9 years since he's left Miami to win 2 rings. Where in 4 years he won 2 and went to 2 finals. Essentially, he was going to win more if he stayed. He would have been something else, but he decided to go on his own. But statistically, bro, you can't be in your 21st year and putting up numbers like if it's your sophomore year. I mean, like what he's doing, it's not normal. Like it's just not. So because especially I play fantasy basketball. So I have LeBron. I drafted him 3rd round. Surprised that he fell off there, but that's because he's old. But the guy hasn't changed. He's still a beast. He is LeBron James, and I think I still have him in a top 5 position. That if he and someone else that's not Anthony Davis, because if you see what's going on right now with when LeBron's on the court, what the numbers are compared to when he's off the court, that means LeBron James is a one-man show, even in the Lakers. He was restricted to play 29 to 30 minutes. I had him there for game 1. He got pissed because he got pulled from a game that he could have won, and now he's averaging 36 minutes since that game. Like, he is back to LeBron James being LeBron. So I do believe his comments. I do. My thing about what the Heat taught him during his time about learning and what an organization needed to do in order to achieve that. I don't believe LeBron knows that knowledge without coming to the Heat, but that he was going to be averaging the same numbers he was before he got there to when he got there. And, again, we could speculate. He could have gone to a team and maybe even won 4 years in a row. Who knows, right? But he did come here in 4 years. He won twice. Then I look at the numbers now in 9 years or something like that since 2014. So we're in 2023. He's only won 2 rings in 9 different occasions. So that means to me, yeah, he's great. He would have still won. He still would have been LeBron James. I think he just doesn't realize the opportunity he had here in Miami and what he could have continued to strive on and achieve.
All right, so I pulled up this as well because I wanted you guys to see what he retweeted again. And he said, "You damn right I would still be. I'm chosen. Ain't nothing changing that. Maybe less rings." He uses a ring emoji, but dominant from start to finish. I'm going to tell you something right now, man. How dare he say that? You want to know something? Right now, he never won as much. He never got that Heat culture. He never learned. He wasn't okay. Let me gather myself.
Gang hype, no, bro.
Because I'm gonna be.
Say what you wanted.
So look, check this out. So when he was in Cleveland, he was a rookie. He had his thing. He made it to the finals and all that stuff. Fine and dandy. Kudos to him. Amazing. Great job with scrubs because he had nobody that first year when he went into the finals. He had scrubs in that game.
Monte Williams, Ilgauskas. Who are you saying scrubs? Ilgauskas?
Those guys are scrubs. Those guys are scrubs. But for him to go and say that he's the chosen, that he was the reason why he made it over and that his career was going to be that, I completely 100% disagree with that shit. And I'm going to tell you why, man. There are players that are superstars that never make it to become what they are if they don't have the right players, the right coaching, the right system in place. LeBron,
I could disagree before I started the chat.
LeBron James learned this about the Miami Heat. He learned how to fucking win, bro. He didn't win with anybody else until he won with Miami. Second of all, he always had D Wade with him, bro. D Wade, if you look at that first particular year that they were together, every time after the games were over in the media, they would both sit together because they always had each other's back. And like You like, why are you doing this? If you're the chosen one, if you're the head one, who gives a damn about what you did and what you didn't do? You or having D Wade next to you, you would stand up there and do it. How about the NBA Finals when he choked against Dallas? Dude, he never he didn't learn that. Who took the initiative to go ahead and say, "Yo, I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna let you take over the team because you're better, you're talented on it." It was D Wade, dude. All those factors played part. Why did he even win a ring in Cleveland? Was because he used a goddamn same system that the Miami Heat uses. He got shooters around him and said, "Yo, I'm gonna get Kyrie Irving. I'm gonna get Christian. What
Kevin
was this
Love.
guy's name? Kevin Love,
Yeah.
and then have him over on my team, and that's how we're gonna win." Dude, the guy would not have been the chosen like he say he would have. He would have been a very good player, just like anybody else. But to the level where people are always comparing him to Michael Jordan or one of the top players in top NBA Hall of Famers of all time, no, absolutely not. Miami taught him how to be that dude. I don't care about his resume. I don't care about every day I'm going in and practicing and this and that. Dude, I don't care about any of that crap. You could do that, but if you don't have the right system, if you don't have the right people, if you don't have the right people behind you, dude, your career could be a wash. How many guys have you seen? I'm trying to think,
Fred,
and
I have to cut you off. There's no way.
there's no way. What?
There's never been a LeBron James. When LeBron James existed, it was when meatballs were shot at the 3-point line, bro. There is nobody else. There is no one else. Like the Will Chamberlain when he played whatever, or Bill Russell when he won 13 rings for the Celtics. That was such different eras compared to what he's done for 21 years. We have seen the NBA develop and LeBron develop with it. You know what I mean? We saw what it used to be centers. We saw it. We saw the Shaq era. Shaq, Ben Wallace, all these centers that were all just. I mean, we even saw a little bit of. Well, Tim Duncan was a power forward. We could judge that, whatever.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Now that you bring that up, if Michael Jordan never had Scottie Pippen, if he never had Tony Kukoc, if he never had Phil Jackson, would Michael Jordan still be as great as he was?
Well, that's just a lot of variables. I think he would have still.
But what about the variables of LeBron James then?
No. I still think I mean him. You saw what Michael Jordan did in the era where Larry Bird, Bad Boy Pistons, and Magic Johnson used to run the show. He went in the rookie, ravaging 32 points. He literally threw his black balls on the table and said, "Suck it." As a rookie, he was gonna be great. That's just one of those people that they're different. they're just built. You know, they're built to be winners. You know what I mean? So you see that what he needed to do was build some muscle and have a team surrounding him so he could be able to take all the contact the 90s and the 80s gave so he could finish at the rim. And then he had a crossover pull-up shot that nobody could really stop. Yeah, he went up against Clyde, and Clyde was a decent number 2. But overall, like LeBron James, everybody, think about it. We went through Kobe. It was a debate at one point, right? Kobe or LeBron. Kobe was still great. Don't get me wrong. He won 2 chips with a bunch of nobodies. But you still hear about LeBron and Wade. Then you go to the 2010s. You're starting to hear about Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James. You're in 2017s. He's still making to the finals while going up against a dynasty in Kevin Durant,
Yeah,
Klay Thompson,
but Flam,
Curry.
if you have a very talented player, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the discipline. We don't know if he would have had the discipline that he learned in that Heat culture because they taught him that discipline. They taught him how to be a winner in this system. Yeah. They taught him how to be like he was still good, but haven't you seen situations when you have like a potential player that's really, really, really talented, and then all of a sudden
he wasn't going to be the thing is he wasn't going to be a Charles Barkley. Like, as much as I want to say it, Charles Barkley's playing 10 years of solid basketball, maybe 4 of like him being 2 or 3 of him being a rookie that weren't going to really be that much, because that's why they called it the prime years, right? Like, you get to these years that are like, you're unbelievable, which I do believe LeBron James's prime years were with the Heat. But then you still get another 10 years of LeBron James putting up numbers that just don't make, I mean, to me, any sense. You know what I mean? I don't disagree with maybe him coming to Miami, him not learning, but he would have at least won a ring or 2 regardless. It's all I'll get to. If it took him 15 years, it would have taken him 15 years, but he would have still been a winner.
I just think LeBron James would not have gone to the extreme of being considered like in comparison with Michael Jordan. I just don't think that would have been the case because of the simple fact that he learned all that because of the Heat, and then he was able to win in Miami. He was able to win in Cleveland. He was able to win in Los Angeles. And that's the reason why we could put him up there and say, okay, is he against Michael Jordan? Obviously, that's another story we could talk about, but they at least compare the two and be like, yo, this guy's up there. He's in 1 or 2 all the time. If he was never in Miami, he would have never been in that talk, in my opinion.
I feel like variables. That's how I just feel about it, because it's just to say, like, if Michael Jordan wasn't drafted by the Bulls, I mean, or Kobe wasn't given the opportunity as a Laker, Shaq wasn't brought over to be as Shaq and Kobe do. Those are all variables. The route that kind of went through, I can only say LeBron James as the player as he is, 21 years. It's not 10, it's not 15, it's not 7, it's not 8. Like, even Jordan had 6 years of finals run. But before that, he didn't make playoffs at one point. You know what I mean? Like, or he made playoffs, but he lost in the playoffs. There was an era that Michael Jordan didn't get to even the playoffs.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Correct. That was before he even got Phil Jackson. So once he started going with Phil Jackson, that's when he started making it to the finals and he started winning.
But is he not great? I just feel like to say that, it's just the Heat that helped him propel to the next level. It could be a discussion to be had, which is what we're having for sure. But when you do it for 21 years, it's not like if you would have started flopping in like year 15 or year 16, he's starting to like really break down. And you're just like, oh, now he's talking big. All right, LeBron, you're just using your ego to say that you're better than anybody. Nah, year 21, you look up the Lakers, or you look up actually just just overall records or stats, and LeBron James is there in the top 10. Like, that's crazy. That's almost 3 decades. Or, it's getting there, of him being consistently in the top 10. So yeah, in this era, not the meatball era. The meatball era to me is just that's fluky. I gotta give him respect. It was, it was a time and all, but Bill Russell will never exist ever again. Like, that's impossible, dog. It's just impossible. So I gotta give LeBron credit there. I do see the argument, and I agree that he maybe is running a little bit too much lip, but he is saying it onto Twitter. I would have probably had less rings. And I got to give him that credit because that's what I feel. Maybe you have less rings, but you still are a champion. I even think he went back on his word by saying that, which is good. He knows, he respects it. He's less rings. He respects it.
Nick, what do you think?
He acknowledged it, which is the good part.
Yeah.
I think both of you guys have valid points. I mean, like what Flam says, I mean, the variables really are what distinguishes a person's dynasty and journey and what he achieves and what not achieves. So, I mean, is he wild to say that the Heat culture did not affect him? I mean, that's for anyone's opinion, but I feel like the Heat culture and his journey here built a lot of leadership skills, a lot of ways of helping his teammates and communicating, and just like, I mean, I forgot his coach's name in Cleveland, but he must have told them, hey, look, this is how we ran it in the Heat, and I think this should work out. So
the white guy, right?
Yeah, I forgot his name, bro.
Yeah, I forgot.
But
the European guy?
Yeah.
All right. Well, one last thing before we move on to our last topic of the podcast. I do want to go ahead and share this, and this is you look at the court. Look at the basketball court of the Miami Heat. That looks badass. What do you guys think about that, man?
I had a friend that went, Ryan Quintana. Nick, you know him. It took when the pictures first come out, a lot of people were speculating the courts were pretty ugly, but overall I think it gives the court something different. I fuck with it. Like an all red court, we've always seen wood, and like, don't get me wrong, it's a nice, the woodwork, it looks nice and all, but that's just cool. It's just all red. It's a strip. He liked it a lot. Sorry, to quote Ryan, he liked it a lot seeing it in person. He thought it was really cool. So I like it.
What about you, Nick?
I love the fact that they brought back the championship on the middle of the floor. I think that's something they should have done a long time ago. But this makes me feel like this in-season tournament, there's not really much incentive for the team. It's more incentive on the player. But what they're doing, the setting wise, and the how they're presenting this tournament, it's been impressing me, man. The different schemes on everyone's court, and just seeing the trophy in the middle of the court, man, that's badass. I like that.
Yeah, man, and I think I like their jerseys too. I think the jerseys work really
jerseys.
well with the basketball court. I will say this though, there's one court that I never liked, and I don't know about you guys, but I'll reveal it. I never liked the Brooklyn next basketball court at the Barclays Center. I hated that crap. I always thought that looked ugly. The way that they had that gray all around and all that stuff. I never liked that court, but maybe it'll grow into me now that I see this, and in particular now that they're using these type of like modification of their basketball courts during the tournament. So I think it's clever by them, man. It's really cool that they're actually bringing this out, because I know you guys, I know Nick says that this tournament is irrelevant, but they're making certain little things to make it relevant. You feel me? And just putting in a basketball court, putting in different jerseys, all this stuff, it's all because of this tournament. That's what they wanted to do. So I thought it was a bright idea, and I'm happy that they did it, and I can't wait to go to one of those games. Well, guys, one last thing before we go ahead and end the show, and it's obviously we want to talk about soccer. There's a couple of things. Number one, I want to get your takes. What do you guys think about Luis Suarez coming to Inter Miami? That's the word on the street. Do you guys agree? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Nick, what do you think about Luis Suarez coming possibly to Inter Miami?
I love it, man. What, bro? Let's break more rules, man. Screw that, yo. Inter Miami, baby. Let's go. Inter Barca Miami 2.0. We got this. If we can bring Ter Stegen as our goalkeeper and put Chandler as our second stringer, hey, by all means, bro. I don't care, bro. But I just want Inter Miami to win what they should win now with Messi, with a full season. And I think this is a great start, man.
Flam, what do you think about Luis Suarez coming to Miami, bro?
It's gonna be unfair, but I don't care. I mean, fuck yeah. Like why am I gonna start caring about being unfair? As long as it's not like breaking any rules, like let's bring this guy on. You're gonna see Inter Miami you're gonna see some stats that you've never seen in MLS history. Like,
yeah,
like you know what I mean? It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna enjoy paying $30 on Apple TV to watch every single game, because it's gonna give me reminiscence of Barcelona days, 2015 over here. But yeah, I mean, it's just I really hope this creates more market, which makes more funding available for owners. That's my trickle effect to this. I know that it seems very one-sided, and me being a Messi fan probably doesn't help my biased opinion at times, but I do feel like, yeah, like this is just going to attract more football. I mean, I hear people like Antonio Griezmann already talking about how he wants to go and play MLS Inter Miami, but I mean, hopefully we break this one apart, because it can't be Inter Miami. Although I don't care, I understand for the betterment of the game, for the betterment of the game, it does need to be spread out just a little bit. But if I love the MLS. I hope that it continues to grow, so we could have an atmosphere here as big as Europe, because it's just insane. And if this helps the game itself propel even higher and greater heights, especially with the World Cup coming 2026, then I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about the MLS and how everybody else cares about it. So I'm glad. I'm happy for it.
Well, for me, man, I feel I think it's cool that they're bringing him over. I just think we're gonna see a lot of more Uruguayos in Miami games. So now it's only gonna be Argentinos and Uruguayos. Like, man, I mean, I don't know if that's. If I was Uruguayo,
wait till they bring James over, and it's gonna be a South American mixture.
I mean, if they bring a Colombian guy, okay, cool. But right now, like, because the games that I've gone to, it's all Argentinos. There's a whole bunch of Argentinos out there. And granted, man, if I was Uruguayo, bro, shit, you got me. I'm buying tickets left and right trying to go see Luis Suarez. If I get to see him here, hell yeah. But I think it's good for Inter Miami. I mean, they give it to us, so
say it with your chest, Frank.
Fuck it. Like, if they're gonna win, they're gonna win it. And if you're gonna let them cheat, let them cheat. I
mean, there you go, Frank. There you go.
If you're gonna cheat, hey man, Bill Belichick cheated a lot of years for a very long time, and he won. So as long as you cheat and you win, I guess it doesn't matter.
Cheaters win. So that is.
I don't think we should always cheat, but hey, Inter Miami, good for you, brother. Good for them. The other thing is, Duke, check it out. I got it up. Copa Interamericana 2024. You got Inter Miami. Obviously, Inter Miami won the Leagues Cup. Then you have León, which won the Champions Cup. I don't know who's that. That's Sudamericana. Who is that? Do you guys know who that team is?
I don't even know.
That
who
looks
León
like
was.
Universitarios, and then that's Fluminense.
That's Fluminense. So
Yeah, Fluminense.
I'm gonna be very biased. I'm sorry, man. Miami, I love you. But man, I want Fluminense to fucking win, bro. Let's go Fluminense, bro. Fucking Arias out there, baby. Arias for fucking Colombia. Hell yeah.
Wait,
So-
Arias wasn't Arias playing for Charlotte?
No, not that Arias. Not that
Oh.
Arias.
Oh, okay.
It's one of our mids. Who
Bet
plays
you're
for-
going for our Charlotte as well, huh? yeah. Say it on the podcast, huh?
No. But no, I'm happy. John Arias plays there, and I want Fluminense to win. I mean, look, man, I'm gonna be.
You love an underdog story. That's just who you are.
Not that I only like an underdog story, but if Messi's not playing, con más razón, with more reason, I want Fluminense to win, bro. Because I'll be pissed at Messi for not showing up and actually going ahead and actually playing this. I mean, it's only 2 games. Like, I hope he plays. He better.
No,
play.
he's already. Isn't it in November now? Isn't it coming up?
Yeah, but I don't know the dates. I could
No,
look.
he's
him up.
already. He's been calling it. He's first and foremost. He's already shut down any Barca rumors, and he is fully committed to Inter Miami. He has been resting now, and I think if he's not mistaken, he wants to play those 2 games, and then he has like his longest break he's ever had in his career. He's like 37.
I mean,
He's about to take like 2 months off to then focus on MLS and Inter Miami. I gotta respect Messi. He is not, he could get a little loan out to Barcelona, do a little farewell tour, and then call it a quits. But he's really dedicated to getting healthy and being ready for Inter Miami. So if you're going for Fluminense, I think I would not speak for Nick myself, but I think me and Nick will be going for Inter Miami. We are proud Miami fans. And if cheating helps us win, why are you trying to stop that, Frank? Why are you trying to out your own?
Sorry, I just get
I
get a little bit biased because you guys know that I went to that stupid cup where Inter Miami lost it, and I didn't get to see Messi. So that's and I didn't even get to see Jordi Alba. So all I got to see was a half-assed Sergio Busquets, who didn't even play well that game. But
didn't play well with that team, bro.
As a matter of fact, the other team I just looked it up is Fortaleza. So Fortaleza is that team. So it would be León versus Fortaleza, and then Inter Miami versus Fluminense. So obviously you guys are going for Inter Miami. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna go with Fluminense. I hope John Arias scores, especially if Inter Miami doesn't play Messi. And I know Flam. I know you just mentioned that he is gonna play, that he's ready to do that stuff, but I have to see it to believe it. Who do you guys have between Fortaleza and León? Like, I don't know them. I know that León is Mexico. Where's Fortaleza from?
I would need to look up, but if you ask me just over on the tournament, it's Inter Miami, and Fluminense is probably gonna get spanked up if Messi's playing like 3-1, and then if Jordi Alba and Burst Boozy are all playing together and they're healthy, it's a 3-1 score in my eyes. And then whoever the León or whatever the other team named, I have no clue, is probably going to lose like a 3-1 game too. And that's just my humbling opinion. That's what we just saw Messi doing international break with Argentina. It's just enough for me to be like, he's healthy and he's taking some time off. He's going to come back fine.
Where is this team Fortaleza from, bro? Do you guys know? I'm trying to Google it and see.
What about you, Nick? What do you got to say, Nick?
Nah, man. Inter Miami all the way. I don't care if John Arias is in Fluminense or if Marcelo's crying that he won his childhood club, which is nice. It was a nice little story, but nah, man. Inter Miami all the way. Fortaleza, I think Fortaleza's from either Chile or...
They're from Brazil, bro.
Oh, my God, they're from Brazil. Oh, wow.
Brazilian
Yeah,
team.
for sure Fortaleza banging that León ass. And then, and of course, and then Inter Miami is gonna be both Brazilian teams, and that's it. That's what it is.
I'm gonna say obviously Leon is gonna lose because Mexican league sucks. But no disrespect to Mexico. And the game we all want to watch is obviously the other side, and we already know. So I'm like again, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna go with Fluminense, and then it's gonna be an all-out Brazil final, and I say Fluminense wins the whole thing. So that's where we stand with that. Obviously, you guys are not happy with my pick of not going against Inter Miami, but it is what it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all good. The last thing we wanted to talk about is, of course, Champions League. Ladies and gentlemen, Champions League has been going on the last 2 days. Well, no, Monday and Tuesday, right? Monday and Tuesday?
No, Tuesday and today.
Tuesday and today. Okay, sorry. Got my stats here. Looking up at these teams, and all right, man. Well, let's get the elephant out of the room, right? Let's just get it out there because somebody's wearing, something out there. And sir, explain to me what happened, man. What happened? What happened to your team, sir?
There's not really. I don't have excuses. Just we couldn't finish in the final third. It has been a rough last 3 games. Since Madrid's loss or our loss to Madrid. It's just been shaky. We have had people down and we've had people come back. It's just been a rotation that hasn't been situated or fixated to us just because of the injuries. I mean, Pedri's coming back now and stuff. Hasn't been playing for X amount of games. Rafinha was out. Araujo was out for a bit. Lewandowski was out. And so we've had to depend a lot. De Jong's also out. We've had to depend a lot on younger guys and recent transfers. So over this Champions League, I can't say much. We should still be winning those games. I do want to put some heat on Xavi now. That's just my take on it. He is still a phenomenal coach. Just that we should be able to score more goals. That's just my take on it. We've had a lot of opportunities. I've seen too many games and I see too many hit posts and too many just final thirds of individuals that that just don't make the shot. And for me, there's something to be said. I will use this comparison just because I am probably a real fan of this guy is Jude Bellingham. You see it, it's a guy who in the final third figures out a way to score. And when you have someone like that, it makes the game a lot easier. We don't have that right now. Lewandowski is not, although he was injured, he's not playing Lewandowski. He's not. I mean, Harry Kane is already 14 goals deep in the Bayern. So I'm not. We're not getting that production out of that guy. We didn't get as much last season, even though he did have the golden ball or golden shoe for the La Liga, but he's not. He's just not contributing to what I thought Lewandowski would be doing. So I am very excited to see the Brazilian kid that we're going to bring in the winter transfer now, Victor Rogue, Tigre, as they call him out in Brazil, to see if we get someone in that number 9 role to score.
I wanted to pull it up that way you guys can see Barcelona is in Group H. Barcelona has 9 points. Porto has 9. Shakhtar has 6, and then dead last is Antwerp. I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah.
Nick, talk to me. What do you think about Barcelona? Their struggles.
Like Flam has said, I'll piggyback. I mean, right now they're kind of going through a series of injuries that are not really helping them kind of dominate the midfield as they should. They like to dominate possession. They like to dominate tempo, and then when the time is right, they attack. And something that Flam said really well was that right now they're getting so close to making goals, but it just either hits the post or it's a clear shot that got ricocheted. And right now, Lewandowski coming back from injury, you would want him to make goals and stuff like that, but his production is going to slowly increase. But right now, Barca, I'm not too worried about Barca. Every team is going to have their little shortcoming games. So I don't. Right now, they're still top of the table, and I think this is maybe something of a good refresher for them to know that, hey, look, any given Champions League game they can win or they can lose too. So I'm not too worried about Barca. They're number one right now in their group. So it's an interest. I think next week or the following week it's them against Porto. So that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. So the results that happened yesterday was Dortmund beat Newcastle 2-0. Shakhtar beat Barcelona 1-0. Lazio beat Feyenoord 1-0. Porto beat Antwerp 2-0. And Man City beat Young Boys 3-0. Milan also beat PSG. Damn, PSG went down 2-1. And then Atletico Madrid spanked that ass, beating Celtic 6-0. And then Leipzig beat man, I don't know how to pronounce that team. Vena, I think that's how you say it. They beat them 2-1. And then today's results were Real Sociedad 1-3-1 against Benfica, Napoli, and Union Berlin. All right, Union Berlin was a tie, 1-1. I haven't been able to get a chance to watch these games because I've been like so tied up with work. Copenhagen beat Man U 4-3.
Yeah,
wow,
that was a wild game.
Salzburg lost to Inter 1-0. Bayern beat Galatasaray 2-1. Arsenal beat Sevilla 2-0. Real Madrid beat Braga 3-0. And PSV beat Lens 1-0. I'm going to ask you guys, because like I said, I haven't been tuning in. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. Any particular game that stood out that you guys want to talk about?
Manchester United for me.
Damn.
That's, I don't know when you start pulling the emergency, but you dropping 9 games out of the last 17 isn't really a winning atmosphere. We talk about coaches and we talk about this, and I'm not saying Ten Hag is a bad coach at all. I just think the shit show that has been the Glaziers, the ones running Manchester United, with either their issues of selling the team, keeping the team, being in debt or bankrupt, which I know firsthand because of Barcelona, could really cause a stir and trickle down. And I think the team right now it's been on fire for the last 5-6 years. I think after Sir Alex Ferguson left, things could be said that they still were pretty good. They weren't Alex Ferguson top of the league or top of the board, but they're horrible right now. I mean, that game was just horrendous. It was 2-0. They were dominating. Rashford, controversial red. People say it could have been just a yellow card, but stepping on the player the way he did, to be honest, you could call it a red. Like, I'm not that mad at what the ref did. After that, you're Manchester United. You're 2-0 against. I don't even know what the team was again. You see, like that Copenhagen. There you go.
Copenhagen,
yeah. Like, the fact that you give up 2 goals in stoppage time of the first half. You give up 1, and then you give up a penalty, which 2 players hit handball in that play, which is why they got the penalty. You question going into the half, what the fuck, eventually you go like, what the fuck just happened? You know what I mean? And then you come out, you get a penalty, you have Garnacho silencing the crowd, and then you have them on the floor crying. It's because that's what happens, and I don't know why you want to talk shit being down 10 men. Eventually they came back. It was a header that was a good run from behind. Dialogue is although he's a pretty good right back, he just literally left his man unmarked, ran from the back, header inside, and then I think he switched. Ten Hag switched. I don't know if it was someone in the midfield for Amrabat. You see an Amrabat for a cross played in, jump in with Maguire. Essentially, the ball ricochets to the guy he left open. He knocks it down on the 85th minute. They goes Copenhagen 4-3. Garnacho starts crying. I mean, it's just I just don't know what to say. Like, I don't know. I don't know if they're not scared of Ten Hag. I mean, if I was that coach, I'll make them run so many laps. We're gonna forfeit the next game. That's how tired you're gonna be. You know what I mean? It's just insane. Jordan Sancho's dilemma with that team too. That guy's not apologizing. There's some controversial things going on there. Bruno Fernandes, I think, is a phenomenal player. I just don't think he's the captain of that team. I think he should not be the captain of that team. because he doesn't set standards straight. He's always crying. We talk about people crying on the pitch. That guy cries more than anyone else, and I was a big fan for a long time, but he's just not captain worthy, and that's who we rely on. I don't even blame Harry Maguire anymore as bad as he is or was. That it's just that team. Anyone who goes there disappears. If you were good, you're trash. Jordan Sancho has been gone. I mean, Paul Pogba never was able to break through to Manchester United. Rashford had a great season last year at the end of the season, or I think the last 20 games or so. But that team is just a hot fire, man. And you just have to start thinking about it as an organization as a whole, no longer just coaching staff and what their players are. If that's the case, you got to eliminate everybody and start it fresh.
Nick, any particular game you wanted to talk about?
I think the Man U game was pretty significant. However, one game I got to talk about is, of course, Los Blancos, Real Madrid. They beat Braga today, 3-0. I got to tip my hat to Ancelotti with the string of injuries with Militao and Courtois. And now with Jude Bellingham with the dislocated shoulder, for him to just, having to put their players in a good position in winning games. And, Rodrigo wasn't playing too well. And today he did like a phenomenal goal. And then Vinicius, finally, he stopped complaining and crying. And he stepped up his game and he played really well. Although the newcomer, Arda Güler, a.k.a. I believe he is called the Turkish Messi.
Yeah.
He was on the bench today. Luckily, he was able to practice these past couple of days. But right now, I'm just very impressed with Real Madrid, how they're able to still keep afloat and, play collective soccer. And hopefully, they continue transitioning this effort and skill from Champions to La Liga as well. And I just got to give a special shout out to my team, Real Madrid. But I gotta also piggyback on the Man U game. And right now, Man U is in turmoil, I believe. I think Ten Hag is still a good coach. I think he has great culture, but man, I think what Man U is really missing is number 9, dude. I think they don't really have anyone aside from that young kid right now, that Hajon kid from the Netherlands, I believe, or Denmark. Yeah. But aside from that, I mean, Mason Mount hasn't done anything. And Martial hasn't done anything. Rashford, like Flam said, had a good season last year, and he's kind of just digressing. You got Garancho crying. You got Lisandro Martinez out for a couple of months now. So, and then, Ten Hag rather put Harry Maguire and Evans over Varane. So I don't know what's going on with that. And it's making Onana, which is a great goalkeeper, look pretty bad at some point. So I think right now, I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully Man U turns it around because I'm a big Man U fan. But special shout out to a guy who I honestly believe is going to be a great talent for Chelsea, Nicholas Jackson, with the hat trick against Tottenham Spurs. My brother does not believe in him, but I do, and I think he's going to be the next, or probably even better, Lukaku.
All right, so first and foremost, Chad is a big Arsenal fan, so shout out to Arsenal. I do not like Arsenal, but congratulations. Arsenal did win. They did handle their business. They beat Sevilla, which is a good team.
Arsenal finds a way to always fumble the bag.
So Chad, very, very nice that Arsenal won. Congratulations. You guys are doing really well in English Premier League. As far as what my brother just finished saying, I don't even want to talk about that game, and I'm gonna tell you why. You know how many players Tottenham had in the field? They had 9. They had freaking 9, and they couldn't even. They were struggling to freaking take over the lead. Are you kidding me? Like Jackson, for the love of God, it was Raheem Sterling had to go and basically do the jugada and the play and give it to Jackson, and Jackson made it. But one-on-one, and then only because there was 9 players, bro. Because I kid you not, Tottenham would have smoked us. Literally smoked us. It's disgusting. I don't like the fact that we're going to even give any, as a Chelsea fan, I would never give props right now to Jackson. What he's been doing out there, no. What he did, dude, he should have had 4 goals, to be honest with you. He missed one clearly. So, Sean Stanley with Fulham. I don't know. You know why he likes Fulham is because Tony Khan owns Fulham. So Tony Khan AEW, he has a relationship. That's why.
It's
so,
funny. He mentions Fulham because Fulham actually lost against Man U this weekend, 1-0. So that's funny. But one last special shout out. I know we were talking about Champions League, but I'm gonna kind of switch over to a different continent. The AFC Champions League. You had Al Nassr without Cristiano Ronaldo. He has been going through some personal things, so he had to take the personal break. However, Talisca had I believe he had a hat trick. So right now,
Brazil.
They're still on top of their Champions League table. Of course, Ronaldo has 11 goals in 9 games and 5 assists, and 45 goals and 11 assists throughout the calendar year.
Well, shout out to Al Nassr and
Saudi Arabia is they're like higher like than the France league now, right? It's like isn't it like a top 5 league right now?
Shout out to Talisca. When I played FIFA, I would go up against Memo and I would spank Memo in FIFA, and I would use Talisca every single time to whoop his ass in FIFA. So
sir, that's not what Memo told me.
Shout out to Memo. I hope Memo is listening to the podcast. Talisca was a hell of a game over there in Al Nassr. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do not tune into Al Nassr. I only look at their highlights here and there, but
ESPN FC.
But at the end of the day, man, I mean, shout out to Talisca. Shout out to Cristiano Ronaldo who's doing his thing over there. And hey, man, next year, bro, we got a couple things popping up, Copa America, and then in a couple years we got also the World Cup, and then that whole ridiculous World Cup days that they're like they pick like 6 countries to host the other World Cup, like after the USA Cup.
2030, right? 2030 World Cup, because 2026 is America.
America's gonna be So I'm not. We could leave that for another day. Because we've been almost going at it for almost 2 hours, guys, and I want to, we were trying. Me and my brother were like, "Yo, we gotta try to do an hour and a half," and then we bring Flam, and then look,
you guys gotta bring me in for soccer. No, you gotta skip the wrestling part. That's you guys, and all respect. But bring me in for soccer. We'll touch on my football. I do want to say you guys should get into a Netflix series. It's called Drive to Survive. It is an F1 series. I'm a big F1 guy now. I love F1 formula. It is a very competitive, complicated, and aggressive sport where a lot of shit talking happens, but you're racing a car at 250 miles per hour while hitting a tight turn at any given moment. I will say, yes, if you guys want to get into that, I really, really recommend. It's a really good show. You might want to give up on even watching live football sometimes because it's that good. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not a big like Formula One, but I do remember a hell of a freaking movie for Formula One. It was called Rush. I don't know if you ever saw it. That was a badass movie.
Someone just recommended it to me recently, so I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah,
that's a great freaking movie. I love that Rush movie. That movie was really, really good. But if you haven't seen it, Nick, you should definitely watch it as well. That's a good movie.
Rush.
But
what was the one that you said from? The
Drive to Survive.
Right, just a vibe.
Yeah,
all right, cool. I know Sean is a big NASCAR. I don't know, Sean, are you a fan of Formula One? Let me know in the chat as well.
NASCAR is for racists. I'm just kidding. That was a Kanye quote. I'm kidding.
Yo, NASCAR was legit, man. Me and my brother, we went to Homestead Speedway the other day. Dude, that shit was
cool, right?
Oh, that was amazing, dude. Like
that shit was wild, bro.
When you come back down to Miami, dude, you need to come. We need to roll all 3 of us to that Homestead Speedway again. That shit was fun, bro.
I'm super about it. I'm super about that. I haven't done much NASCAR, but I saw even this race this weekend that happened for F1 in Brazil, the Brazil Grand Prix, and I was on my knees because 3rd place and 4th place were 5.0013 seconds away from each other. And 3rd to 4th. Yeah, no, it was. Well, I saw it with some people, and they're like, it's the most exciting race we've seen in a couple of days. Like a couple of them, because some of them are a good distance between. You start in your pole position, which is 1st, and you have 20 cars behind you, so it's really hard and competitive to get by. But it's a lot more that goes into it. I definitely recommend it. Recommend how teams are made up of 2 drivers, how much budget they have, how they even become Formula One, because not everyone could do it. What are some of the qualifications that it takes? It's a lot that goes into, a lot more than I thought. Will say, ignorantly speaking, I thought it was just racing cars. The faster you are, the better you are. It's not like that at all. So definitely recommend.
Well, definitely, yeah. Sean also said it there. Not as much as NASCAR, but Drive Doc is legit. So he is definitely agreeing. All right, guys. Well, that is pretty much going to end our show. We're going to go ahead and give our last takes. For me, obviously, my name is always and can be always be known as Fresco Music. You could always find me on all social media under Fresco Music with a Z and a K and an O. On TikTok, IG, Facebook, X, I'm always on. If you guys want to talk some football or talk about any other sport, wrestling, of course, I'm a big wrestling. After we end the show right now, I'm gonna go and watch obviously AEW Dynamite. I always record it and watch it now that we're doing the podcast at the same time. But yeah, follow me in all social media platforms. Also, don't forget to hit the like on this podcast. Again, guys, we're trying to grow little by little. If there's certain things that we mess up, I apologize. If I mess up, it's my first go around as a host. So me and my brother are always trying to work. And then Flam today was good. So having him was really, really a different vibe. I like having more people come in because, we always want to get different perspectives of different people. And we're not always going to agree. But at the end of the day, bro, hey, man, that's what sports is all about. It's about debating, bro. So shout out to everybody. Let's go with our guest today. Frank, do you want to plug anything in particular or anything?
Barcelona is like the best club ever. The Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, and I mean, like, what else can I say? You know what I mean? No, I mean, it's been awesome being on. I hope to be a frequent flyer here. Definitely love talking sports and hearing everybody's perspectives. But hey, it was lovely being on. This is awesome, and can't wait to do it sooner.
Awesome. What about you, Nick?
I love that Flan was able to join us today. Always grateful to have another show with great guests, with great hosts such as yourself, Fresco, and you can catch me on my at Twitter at ThatWayNick. If you want to be part of my trap family, follow the Trapio. And you know me, guys, I like to finish the day off with a quote. And this quote is from Winston Churchill. He wrote, "Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm." And that's how I would end my show for today.
Awesome. Maybe that's a good quote we should give LeBron James. All right. So let's go ahead and say thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you so much, Chad. Sean, thank you for being there. Memo, he was also in the chat. I saw Cindy was in the chat. Cassius Stone was in the chat. Thank you so much, guys. If you guys did, unfortunately, if you do miss our show, again, you could always tune in back to it on YouTube. It is being shown on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. So we have all 3 different platforms. You could check it out. And like I said, man, it's all 3 of us just talking sports. We really, really enjoy it, and we hope you guys have enjoyed our show for tonight. For all of us here for the podcast, let me talk to you. Good night, and till next time. Take care, guys. Peace.